Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Ninja here, and today we're going to go over the basics and as much as we can of all that entails skill gems. Now, what are skill gems? In other games, in ARPGs, what you'll have is a skill tree, and the skills are assigned per class. So, if you're Spearborn in Diablo, you'll have access to skills that other classes will not have, and you'll have a specific skill tree. Now, in Path of Exile 2, actually, you do not have any of that. What you do have is this wonderful feature called skill gems. Now, skill gems will randomly drop from mobs outside of your mapping and whenever you are in the areas killing just mobs. Now, skill gems are also given to you as soon as you start. It's one of the first things you'll do when you start playing, and it's part of your initial questing. So there you get two of them at the very beginning. Per se, there are several types of kinds of skills that you can have, but skill gems tend to be the more active ones, whereas the spirit gems, those are what you would usually call in other games passives or buffs, activated buffs or passive. And then you also have these called support gems. Now, the first and foremost thing that you'll want to know is that skill gems really depend upon the requirement of what's stated on the skill, more so than the class itself. So that's one of the cool things about PoE 2. You don't actually need to be, for example, a sorcerer to be able to use a spark skill, which is, a sort specific skill on a witch. So at the moment, I am on my witch. It's a blood mage witch, right? But if you look at the skills that I use, Eye of Winter is actually an elemental skill that you can get from the elemental tree, which is part of the theme of the sorcerer. So if right now I were to use a skill gem, let's say we'll use a level 5 skill gem, you'll be able to see here on the left, you can see all of the skills that you could access through that level 5 skill gem. So the skill gem, the way it works is you get it, you drop in a 4, you right click it, and it opens up this menu. Now I don't know on console or realize what the right click is, but you just open up this menu, it will appear this way. Now this is the only way that you can see this menu. You need to have a skill gem to be able to see the skill gem menu. You cannot access it like in any other game. Like I would lost so much time at the beginning of the game pressing like K as you would do in certain games to see the skills. That's not how it works, because again, you don't have class skills. So we press on that, and as a witch, you default as a cult. There's elemental, which is kind of the sorcerer's default skill gem, and then you'll have flail, primal, and axe, which are not yet implemented into the game. As you see, well, how do you know first off the requirement? All right, so there are a few requirements. First off, the level requirement, meaning that you need to be of a certain level skill gem to be able to unlock some of them. As you can see here, there are numbers: rank 1, rank 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. So you need to hit these marks with the gems to be able to unlock these. At the moment, I open a rank 5 gem, and therefore I can only open skills up until rank 5, but you can also unlock the ones that are lower. So it's kind of a retroactive thing. So I can do spark, and it will automatically upgrade the spark to level 5 spark for me if I were to use it. Now, another level requirements which you can see here is requires a level, and then it requires stats that you have. Could be strength, could be dexterity, and now because this is a level 5, it buffs it up to 14 and 34 end for that kind of stuff. But then if I were to look kills in the tree, for example, the mace, I have strength as a requirement. Now, this is quite important because as you can see here, I need 20 dexterity and 20 int to use it. And also as well, you'll have to have a correct weapon type depending on the skills, because at the moment I don't have a staff, I'm using a wand and a scepter. There are several levels, right? So those checkpoints are the 1, 3, etc., etc. Those are the checkpoints where you unlock new skills. But right now, I can go to level 18 and then unlock all of these because the maximum is level 13. Now, these are not only gated by level, as stated before, but also with the ability to drop specific gems of a specific level, and the levels of gems you drop depends on the area that you're at, and the level of the mobs will make significantly more more important matters at later game, because to get, for example, level 19 or level 20, which are super rare gems, you need to have maps that are of a significant level. If we continue on, you'll see that I can, for example, say I was saying I'll take it to level 18 and I'll choose elemental. Again, this is not my default thing. You can also, by the way, go for all gems if you're looking for a specific one, and I can spark. Down here is a little trick, and then I'll just choose spark. As you can see, it will be upgraded to level 1 to level 15, so I'll do upgrade. There's an automatic setting, by the way, in case you didn't know, here in the options, where it will say gem category restrictions and equipping restrictions. So this is quite important. So as a beginner, it's warning you, hey, you're about to create a gem that you already own and that's slotted in your inventory for gems, or you're about to create a support gem that you already have, or you're about to create a gem or support gem that you at the moment cannot equip because you don't have the stats or the weapons that are, so it will gray it out. If you remove these options, it will let you craft whatever you want, but as a beginner, I do advise you to keep these options, especially the gem restrictions, because what we're talking about, enabled. So moving on to the next part, we'll look at trying to do this. So we'll cut the gems. So this is the type of uncut and cut. Uncut are dropped and or purchased. You can purchase them in game through the trade house. We'll get to that much later in another video. And so we'll cut this Frostwall skill, and now you can see that this has now been applied to the Frostwall that was in here. So this has now become a gem that was already present because it was already in my inventory. Now, of course, I don't want this Frostwall at that level. I want it at the minimum level, but I wanted to show you that that's what's going to happen if you have already a skill in the inventory and you click upgrade. It will automatically upgrade that skill to a specific level, and the same thing will happen for, you know, spark and so on. So that's not a problem. Don't worry about that. It's just a thing to remember, because for example here, I don't want this skill Frostwall or spark, I don't want them to be such a high level for my build. So it's quite important if your build requires them to be of a certain level. Like for example here, I would have to go back to level 9, I believe, and this is where I unlock Frostwall the first time. Yeah, this is level 9, and then I would need to create the gem, right? And then, you know, then I'll do it this way to show you how it works if I just have it in my inventory. Frostwall level 9, and it's going to put it in the inventory, and then I'm going to go grab it and put it back here, and now I have a level 9 instead of a level 17, which was given by the other gem that I created earlier. Same thing for the spark. Now, one thing to keep in mind about keeping low levels is that level 1s, which is basically this one, just I get +5 modifiers from my global modifiers, which are on this. So this is +5 to level lightning wall spell skill, so it goes up from level 1. You can see 1 level from gem and then 5 from global modifier. So if I want to keep it low, then you need to ensure that you remove the skills here, right? So like for example, I would have done this instead of upgrading the spark, and then created a spark that was a different level if that mattered to me. Now the other thing is that level 1s are not rare, even though you finding them online is kind of expensive. They're not really rare. They're quite easy to find. All you have to do is play a new character. You can create a new character off the bat, get through the first boss, which takes, you know, a couple of minutes, and you'll be given a level 1 gem, which you'll put in right away as soon as the here and the clear file. And the first quest that you do is literally going to hand you a gem right away when you speak to them, and that's a level 1 gem. And this is how you can create, like I just create a new character and I'm just gonna go through and get a level 1 spark or whatever level 1 I want, and then slap it back in here. Placing them in your skill bar, if you have an active skill here, so if it's skill that you have here, for example, I have Mana Tempest or I have the Eye of Winter, all you have to do here is do this, and it will automatically, you know, it will say, okay, I want this skill to be placed on this number, so long as it's in here, right? So if I remove this, it's not available anymore. So and voila, now it's available. Now, another important thing to think about in this kind of game are support gems. We're just spoken about uncut and cut kill gems. Now, support gems are here, and you can see it's called uncut support gem, and they look differently. They have 3 levels, and unlike the other ones, I don't have the other 2 levels because they retroactively cover all levels. But if I open a support gem, what they do is, if you've ever played, for example, Warframe or First Descendant or any kind of game like that, is you slot them into a skill to empower the skill. skill and give it you ability, kind of like a mod in those games, right? So the simplest way to show it to you is, for example, I have this skill here, which is blink, which is a passive skill, and I have slotted in arcane tempo, which is a support skill, and it literally is written here, support gem, and I have, you know, slotted support skills, and by adding them it says, you know, support skills will then have something, right? And this empowers the skill to do something. Skills have a requirement, but it's not based on the skill itself, right? It's more like it adds a specific stat. As you can see, skills, I'll show you here. Like if I open right now my support skills and I show all gems, they're either green, blue, or red. What I'm getting at is they have specific stat that add to. So this is +5, this is +5 dex, this is plus int, this is going to be int, this is going to be strength, so on and so forth. You can see this here. And also, if you're wondering how I'm holding the menu for happening on the PC, it's by pressing Alt, and it will hold everything into place and you can read everything. So this is a very good way to understand the game better if you want to spend the time to understand it, because it will literally explain most of the things. So why does it matter that it has a plus on, you know, the stat that is saying? Well, simply because, as you can see here, I have quite a few green support skills, and then here I have a red one, etc, etc. And as you can see here, now it's showing an accumulated number. It says that in total, if I wanted to add this, right, so if I didn't have it here and I wanted to add it, now it's updated saying that I need 20 strength overall in my stats. And we're talking stats is right here, so you have strength, they're intelligent, right, to be able to put this in. So because I have 20 strength, as you can see here, it shows you that you have, out of how many slots, so this is the list how many support gems you can have for each attribute. You can only have one support gem for 5 points in that attribute. So this is literally how it works. They already do the math for you here. You don't have to go and calculate it. So it says here I can do up to 13 red support gems in all my skills added, right? Because this is not at the moment 4 in this skill, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's additive complexity from all the gems slotted in here. So that's quite important, because you'll find out that, oh, for example, you want to add all these cool support skills, but then you don't have the stats. And a cool way in this game to do the stats, right, as you have these nodes that are quite nice, these kind of nodes here, right? These are attribute nodes, and what you can do is you can re-roll something to add +5 of a specific attribute. And that's quite important, because as you can see here, for example, I wouldn't be able to have so much strength and dexterity because my gear does not stack attributes as much. So the attributes that I need for my support skills are gathered from the tree. As you can see here, I don't have it in the first part quite significantly, because I need to get those attributes, cap, checkpoints, whatever you want to call it, thresholds. So if, for example, at the moment I can't uncap everything, but if you won't be able to, for example, let's say I'm going to do a support gem, and usually this is the support gems are applied to the skills you have on you. This is not something that's going to end in your stash unless you have it so that you can craft gems that you cannot wear. So that was the helpful option that we're talking about earlier. So that one thing that you'll see is right now I've opened the menu, and then I look at a specific skill, so like for example blink, archmage, etc, and it show you some of the support skills. Now the main problem is here, and you have to pay attention as a beginner, this is quite important, you have to remove that to be able to see all the skills that you can actually apply to a specific skill. Why is that? Is because there are a lot of really good things that you want to apply to your skills that might not be in the recommended gems. Like this one, it has nothing recommended because the skill that we will get to in a second. But by opening this, then I can search for all, or I can do, you know, this, I can do all, you know, and then I can see also I can select all the kind of slots, you know, int, green, or sorry, dexterity or strength as well, kind of help you around. And when you're looking at a build, you know, let's say you're looking at my build and you're looking for unbreakable, wind wave, arcane tempo here, what you have to do is you will remove this, okay, and then you'll be arcane tempo, yeah, and then you'll have to be on blink to be able to apply it to blink, but you can do it like if you accidentally, it's like it will happen many times that accidentally I don't remember to go on blink, and I'll go life remnants and then arcane tempo, and I'm like, shit, why could I put it there? Right? Or I'll go on power siphon by accident. I'm on power siphon, and I'll be like, oh, arcane tempo, okay, I will put it in here by accident, thinking that I've already put it in. Happens all the time. Just remember that if it disappears, it could be in one of the other skills because you forgot to click here and then select the skill. Now, the other thing, as you can see here, because of the restrictions that the character is already wearing super gem, you cannot wear more than one of the same kind of support gem in all your skills. So you cannot have an arcane tempo on this skill and then you can have it as well on power siphon, because that's the restriction. Otherwise, you could make skills way too powerful. So that's another type of restriction that is quite important. Now, another thing that you can do is to learn and see which support skills go into which skills is once you've cut a skill up, like support skill. As you can see here, I have quite a few. And another way to see it is if I put this here, you can see here you have supportable skills. So it'll show you the current skills that you've socketed, skill gems you socketed, and it will show you, oh, this actually can go into Great Aligning or Eye of Winter, etc. Again, to start the menu as I'm doing while you're hovering over is Alt, and then I just hover over without problems, and I can read. So that's another cool thing that you can do. So you don't always have to right click a support gem and blah, 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 blah. If you already caught one, this reminds you what's available. Again, the only way to see this menu, just like the skill gem menu, is by right clicking. You will not have the access to this menu of the support gems without having a support gem that is uncut. That is quite an important thing. Now, I would advise you, if you have some currency, wait for every 3 weeks in game. They allow you to have a stash tab sale. And if you have something to buy in game with the currency, I would advise you to buy stash tab in game, as it will help you in the long run. If you're planning to play the game in a long run, to organize all this stuff for you rather than having to do it manually. Because what I can do right now is like if I'm on my currency tab or any other tab, because I've linked this specific tab to gems, I can just go like on a currency, I can control left click, puts it into the inventory, into the stash automatic, so control left click, and that I know has gone into the gems. But anyway, one thing that I would like to go out of is the importance of certain skills. Like for example, I have right here a couple of skills that look different. So you can see this is a spell that all come from not gems that I put in, but actual things. So this is part of my build. So this is part of the class, the ascendancy that I have. So it's a skill that is automatic. These are put, as you can see by the weapon sign, they're put in weapons or gear, right? So the graded lightning bolt is actually put in by my Choir of the Storm. As you can see, it grants the skill level 18 graded lightning bolt. Another thing to notice about skill gems, especially skill gems that are passively added by items, is the fact that the actual sockets and the levels depend on the items themselves. So at the moment, we have a level 19 greater lightning bolt, and then on top of that, you can also go for, as you can see here, this is a level 18 skill. So the main difference here is you have a level 84 requirement, and here you have a level 78 requirement. And realistically, this is one of the ways to increase that. Of course, you can corrupt it and try and get a higher increase on any of these stats, but we won't discuss this too much because this is about the Vaal Orbs, and we should make a video just about that. But the main idea is, yes, you can still get higher skill levels from your items, but it all depends on the actual base level of the item. The higher you go, the better it is, and you could even probably get a level 20 maybe. I'm not pretty sure about this. I think 84 is kind of the cap. So the same thing applies to the skill slots, because for example, the skill slot of our life remnants right here as full, as we discussed earlier, we have 5 because we reached level 90. The same thing is going to apply to these items. Once you reach a certain level on the item level, you're going to get those slots. So that's quite important. Now, in the topic of sockets, sockets is something that are quite important in the game. As you can see here, this is the base gems that I've just received right now. The base gem here comes with 2 sockets. how do we get to 3, 4, and 5? There are a few ways. The easiest way that you're gonna be able to do it is, as you level up, you're gonna find these jewelers, right? In the maps, depending on the rarity of the mobs, and depending on the level of the mobs, you're gonna be able to drop these. Now, lesser jeweler orbs will start dropping more often, and they're fairly common. Greater jeweler orbs, which add 3 support gem sockets, are rare, so they don't drop that often. And the perfect jeweler's orbs, which are gonna be here, or if you have the currency tab, be able to see it, they're quite rare. I think in my whole gameplay of 300 plus hours at the moment, I've only ever seen 4, and that's with a lot of rarity modifiers on my gear. So they're fairly rare, and so you don't just want to go and waste your gem slots. So you can definitely do the 3 one, but the greater and the perfect one are definitely something you want to hold off and spending your gems on. I'm going to show you what happens if I try and do this little thing. So I'm just going to go here, and if I were to want and add a slot, what it says here, right here, it says add a support gem socket to a skill gem with 2 support gem sockets. So I cannot use a certain amount of these, like 20 of them, to be able to give me 5. This can only be applied to these ones. As you can see, it highlights these ones here because I can apply to them, but this one I cannot do it. Now, as you can see as well, it does not highlight this one despite the fact that it's only 2. And this is because this is a corrupted gem. Now, we will get to corrupted gems in just a second, so don't worry about it. But as you can see here, the 2 ones will always show up, and I'll be able to update this. So if I wanted to do Mine and Tempest, I would just boop, and I get an extra socket. Now, if I wanted to add a 4th one, I'd have to use this one. So I'm not going to use it right now because there's no point. But as you can see here, now these are highlighted. Another important thing is the quality of gem. So as you can see here, right? So you can see this gem that is socketed in here. And this is, at the moment, this is a meta gem. We will get into meta gems into their own video, but this is a skill gem in and of itself. This is Spark. If for a short intro of meta gems, it's just a skill that allows you to do other stuff in the middle, right? So meta is like it's a medium to stuff, so I can slot skills into it because it allows me to do stuff off of these skills. So this is a skill right now, and it is quality 20%. Now, what does quality do? As you can see here, it tells you quite quickly that skill gems or equipment that grant skills grant a specific bonus to the skill based on quality. That's at the bottom. And then, of course, flasks and armors, etc. So you can increase quality of your items, as you can see here, except for my belt. You can see here, you can have quality of certain items, except for corrupted items, unless you've done it before. But we'll get into corrupted items at a later date. But anyway, the idea is you have quality. Usually it's 20% the maximum quality. There are some items that allow you, as you can see here, maximum quality is 50%, to go and break that quality. But the same thing happens for gems. Now, if you wanted to know if it's worth upgrading the quality, because not every skill needs to have a quality upgrade. Like for example, this one right here, I did not upgrade the quality because is not significant to my build. Same thing for this one, I haven't yet upgraded the quality because it's not significant to my build. It's not something that I care about, but I could do that if I wanted to, because I'm going to show you in the video just now how we upgrade the quality. So as you can see here, at the bottom will tell you additional effects from quality. So this one fires up to 4 extra projectiles from 0 to 4. So that's the quality if you get it to number 20. So what we're going to do here is we're going to show you on this example. So I have some gem cutters prism, and thankfully here you have an gem cutters prism will update the quality to 5. So each one, as you'll see here. So I have Eye of Winter. As we said, it goes from 0 to 30% increase. So what I'll do is I right click on the gem cutters prism. You can see it highlights the ones that I can apply it to. If it's already been upgraded quality 20, then I cannot upgrade it anymore. It will not work, see, as I tried just now. And then I'm going to do it here, 0 to 30, and then I'm going to click the quality of the Eye of Winter now, and then it has increased the projectile speed to 7%. Now, as you can see here, 7% increase. You can see it when I'm hovering over, there is a new line called 7% increased project speed, and now it's 7. And as you can see now, it's 5% quality. So that's why you want 4 of them for each, because this is going to be 10, now it's going to be 15, and voila. And now we have into 20% is 30%. So now you know how to upgrade these. You do not not need to upgrade support gems. These are non-upgradable at the moment of filming this. Maybe later down the road, they might allow you to do that, but that is the gist of it. Now, regarding upgrading the level of your skills, as we said, we've touched on the passive ones, or the ones that you get passively through items or your build, how to upgrade them. But realistically, the way that you can upgrade your skills is by acquiring higher level gems. So as you can see here, this is level 19, and we'll upgrade any of my skill gems to level 19. Of course, there's a requirement of rarity that is quite not told in the game, but we will get to it at the end, but it's quite important. But anyway, you have higher levels, and as I said, level 21s are even rarer to be able to see them, and it can only be obtained in very high-end content, but you don't need level 20, especially because, again, each level comes with a requirement. Now, right now, the requirement will say level 84, right? So if I go again with the Frostwall we were talking about, now this is going to upgrade it to from level 78 to 84, right? So again, I'm hovering over a skill that is implemented in one of my meta gems. So it's there, it's present in my inventory at the moment, my skill inventory, right? And you can see here, it would upgrade it from a minimum of level 78 to 84, and then it would cost me more intelligence, right? And it will show you if there's any improvements. If without holding Alt, it will show you the improvements. So increase full damage, increase more frizz buildup, so on and so forth. It will show you what the improvements are when you're upgrading something, but we won't upgrade that. There's no point at the moment. So that's how you level them up. Now, another way to give +1 levels is by using something called a Vaal Orb. Now, Vaal Orbs are quite an interesting thing here. Vaal Orbs, again, Alt, you can see here what it does. So modifies an item unpredictably and corrupt. By corrupting it, all it does, it says certain items can be found corrupted or made corrupted using a Vaal Orb, changing the properties unpredictably, right? So what it does, the Vaal Orb, is it applies an unpredictable effect to gems. Now, regarding your skill gems, and there are certain items you can't apply to. For example, you cannot apply them to support gems, but to skill gems, you can apply them. And what it will do is you have the following options. So it could do a +1 level. So this is how I've gotten my Archmage. So this is a level 19 gem, and it gets +1 from corruption. So it can go +1 level, it can go -1 level, it can go up quality, minus quality, and it can also add a socket or remove a socket, or it could do nothing. The adding a socket to get this to 3rd to 4th slot is 25% chance to go from 3 from 4, and then from 4 to 5 is a 12% chances. So it's quite significantly low. And at the beginning of the game, you can definitely try to get some Vaal Orbs to get the 4th slot, but realistically, I don't really necessarily advise to use Vaal Orbs that way. My advice would be, don't mess too much with Vaal Orbs. If you get them, keep them. Once you get to the end game, you're gonna make much better use of them. But if you're really struggling to find a way to upgrade your gems to +4 slots, that's one way to do it, or to +1. So I'm going to show you now. This is level 18 and has, let's see, there's one here. Yeah, this is level 19 and it has 20% quality. So I'm going to apply this. So it's corrupted. Nothing happened here. So it didn't go down. Nothing happened. And this is another thing that can happen. As I said, something can happen or nothing can happen. Now, once it's corrupted, now I cannot do any more things to it. So this was a 5-slot, spark. So this means I am now stuck with it. I cannot do anything more with it except for upgrading the level of this gem. By increasing the level, I can add to this gem. So I won't be able to quality it anymore. And of course, this is a 5-slot one, so it doesn't matter. But if this were a 4-slot one or a 3-slot one, then I will not be able to add more slots anymore. Corrupting an item makes it basically unusable to upgrade, right? So that's why before, when we were looking at our gems here and we were trying to see what happens if we try and upgrade the quality of things or add a slot here, as you can see here, I couldn't upgrade the slot here because this is a corrupted one, but I wanted this +1 because this is a great buff to have as one. So that's as it goes. As the cookie crumbles, that's what we need. Now, as we've already discussed before, one way to increase the slots for passive gems, again, is through leveling up. So these passive ones are passively obtained. This one is via the build, and these ones via your gear, and these will automatically go to +5 at level 90. You cannot apply a jeweler's orb on these at all. Now, regarding gem rarity, that's something that the game does not tell you, and it's quite important. Gem rarity is an element of how often you can find certain gems type depending on where you are in the game. Now, skill gems, you'll find a lot of uncut skill gems while you pray, but you'll find less of support gems, right? So they won't drop as often as skill gems, and even more so spirit gems. The first spirit gem that you get, they will be given to you actually from a quest after you kill a specific mob and complete a quest, and this is how you get your first spirit gem. We will get to that into the spirit gem video, but spirit gems are quite rare to find, and even a higher level especially, getting them is not quite easy. As you can see, I only have like 3 of these because they're quite used on builds, and you get a lot more of the uncut skill gems. Another really cool thing that you can do to check information about a skill's damage and also certain attributes that you might not be able to see on the main menu. So for example, if I want to see my rarity or my crit chance or crit damage based on my skills, I can't really check this here in this menu. But what you can do is this little trick here, and well, it's not a trick, it's just the way that it works here. And you can open this menu by seeing to see all of the damages that it delivers. So damage per second, average damage, so on and so forth. You can see all of this here per skill because these affect your skill. You have critical hit chance, for example, as a critical hit chance for your whole entire character, and then you can also have critical hit chance for spells. And so that's why they have different attributes, and that's quite interesting. Another thing that you can notice here is the fact there is a 1 and a 2 here, and this is quite important because you can allocate certain things to happen depending on if you're equipping the gear slot number 1 or the gear slot number 2. Now, what does it mean? See, here there's a number 1 and here there's a number 2. So when I do this, I have a bind that changes my gear. Why is it important? As you can see here, when I'm swapping out of this, my this is my spirit bar, so you can see this is 18 out of 123. This is 113 out of 338. So because I don't have my usual gear that gives me spirit, it swaps my gear. So this also allows me to select. So for example, if I wanted to say when I'm in gear slot 2, please allocate this skill here, right? If I have enough spirit to allocate it, this is a buff, right? I can do that. So one of the ways that, for example, you might have seen some people do it as they allocate this blink because they might not have enough complexive spirit. And the reason why I have such high spirit, I've done the quests in game, I've killed the mobs that give us extra spirit, and which are bosses in game, and then and we'll make a video about those as well. And then I also have increased spirit here, and then some passes that also increase spirit plus something here. So with all the total spirit, I can allocate certain skills to happen that require spirit allocation, and this is one of the main reasons why you can swap. So one thing that people do is like, okay, I don't have enough spirit sometimes to do blink with my main set, but I can swap onto my secondary slot, which is more centered around spirit, for example, not in this example but in general. And then I can, whenever you swap to that, the game is intelligent enough that it will activate or deactivate. So you can do this, and that's on set 2. You'll see I swap to set 2, and voila, my blink is deactivated. And I swap back to set 1, my blink is activated. So and you see that certain builds don't go into explaining that you should bind a certain skill to another one, and you're questioning how is it possible that I don't have enough spirit, is in the gear doesn't show it. This is how it's done. Another cool thing that we can do that can help us understand a bit better how our gear is overall affected. This is not necessarily a direct skill based thing, but it's quite interesting. What you can do is if I were to allocate a skill to let's say here, I go to the reality, I'm going to refine the passive element, I'm going to refund, or can I refund? Let's say for example I refund, right? Okay, so when I click that, right, and I hover over this and I press shift, I don't know what shift is realistic on the controllers, but on shift is not the alt. The alt allows me to see something else, which we will get to in a second. But when I see this with shift, it shows me that if I were to choose this specific node now, again, what's going to do is it's going to increase my skills power by a certain amount. So the damage per second, the DPS, is increased by a certain amount. And this way you can see how you increase your DPS. Is quite interesting. And yet another thing that the game doesn't tell you. So now if I select this, I was going to put up the DPS for my Grey Lightning Board, my Powerful Siphon, and the Eye of Wind. So it's also a good way to know which skills are affected by which nodes. Now, the last thing that we'll get to, but again, and I'll make a video about anointing, but the alt here instead allows you to see distilled emotions to apply for an anointment slot onto your gear. Anointment slot can be only applied at the moment to the amulets. So this is an anointment Voracious. And if I go and check, at the moment I have Voracious here, even though I didn't reach it actually by anointing. And as I said, we'll get to a video later for that. So that's it about skills. You now have hopefully a better companion to understand everything. I think that's it about skill gems and support gems that we can find. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you like the video or if you have any feedback, as usual, please let me know. I'm trying to help your beginner players and to make it a bit more understandable for people that come from other games like myself, who struggled quite a bit at the beginning in the game, as I never played Path of Exile 1, even though gems whole other thing. And yeah, it was quite confusing and I didn't understand why certain things were certain way. But other than that, that's it. There's nothing else to it. And if you have any questions, also ask me in the comments down below, or you can always hop on to the stream. We stream every day, and we are a community of kind people where we try and help each other for free. And so if there's any help or any help you doing the end game or activities or stuff like that, getting ascendancy points, this is what we do in the stream. I'll leave a link down below to the Twitch link. And yeah, if you like more of this content, you'd like to see more of this content, make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. Other than that, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a lovely day, and see you in the next one. Bye.